Hello everybody. For a second there I had to pause because when I switched over the game didn't load in right away and I was like, oh. But it's here. It's the Idle Champions and it's the Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions stream. As there is Fridays on the CNE Games channel because that's a thing. Yeah. It's been an interesting week, folks. We got new information dropped on us today. We had new information dropped on us on Tuesday that was kind of, we knew it was coming, but still, it's nice to see things confirmed. So today we're going to talk on the channel about Azaka and how Azaka makes it rain, right? I figured we'd have an episode title that was very descriptive, so people could easily find it on the YouTubes, on the YubTubs afterwards. And then, down there, we're going to talk about stacking or setting up Kroll stacks and optimizing your gold find in the new, chaos that is our champion pool. But we have a couple new people since the last time I did Azaka stuff. So we have like Freely and we have Omen. So that are, kind of directly contributing. So we're going to talk about that. So, Gar, what are we going to do today? The same thing we do every week, Michael. Try to take over the game. No. We're taking over this channel, though. So, no message in game yet. Yeah, they usually give me a few minutes to make an idiot of myself before they actually advertise that I'm on stream. I thought Okori was going to be number one announcement. I've been waiting for a while. But then Funko beat them. Oh, yeah, this week. The Funko stuff. If you didn't hear... the full Vox Machina is getting Funko Pops. Not just Vex on a broom. That's just an extra. But all of them, plus Trinket. Armored Trinket. Armored Trinket only in certain specialty stores. Man, it's going to be rough. I think the reservations, they were like, reserve them now on our website. And yeah, they're all reserved already. Let's start out with a question I asked in general, and Discord would like to hear more options. Have you played Tales of the Yawning Portal? I have not. I have not, Geodular. So, yes, there is a new code. Grab your Lamp Toft Tika code. I don't know. Mars is the one that does the gags about codes. I don't. I leave that shtick to him most of the time. I'm going to answer a couple quick questions. I'm going to show off the Elcoria Champion Spotlight, and then I'm going to kind of do something that we haven't done in a while, which is kind of ignore chat for a bit while I try to set up and explain and talk through how I personally, not everyone, how I personally set up Kroll stacks and Azaka farming, just to give people an example, and then I will try to catch up with the chat. We may miss a lot of questions, so... That's just a thing we could probably expect today. First thing, how are your pipes doing? That's a little personal. Oh, no, we set them up on Tuesday on my stream over on Idle Chatter at Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. And my pipes are looking pretty purple. I'm coming up on level 8. And this was designed to try to help me find a way to do this, but also come up and pick up this one at level 8 as well. And to kind of dump into this one, but without getting a real high. This one won't be purple at all. But everything's looking pretty purple. This is another reason why we're doing Azaka farming today, because I picked up, 2 of the gold find ones. I don't have this. I'm just missing certain pieces. Eventually I'll be able to pop all of this. Oh, speaking of, I do have a component chest. Hold on. Hey, did we get anything? Undirected straight, actually, I'm low on those, so that's fine. And a directed corner, that might be a thing that gets used. You know what? Hold on. There's more chests we need to open today, because we're going to be showing off Omen, so I do need to open Omen chests. So let's go. I've only opened silvers to date, and I think I'm just all green. I did get a shiny on one of them last week. So we're just going to open gold Omen chests and see how this fleshes out. All right, so we got the blue stamp of approval for his His mace. We want more blues here, folks. Okay, there's the Eyes of Tomorrow armor. I want all the blues. Give me all the blues. Because I know we'll get at least, what, 2 purples? That's average. So there's the 3rd blue, 4th blue. Oh, I got the blue and the purple for the same piece. And it's contractual obligations. Ding, 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 ding. Cue the slot machine kicking out lots of coins. That's the one we want for Azaka farming. That's the one where when your team attacks 100 times, he gives you a gold find bonus. So that worked out well. Okay, so that should be all the blues now, right? Yeah, now we're into duplicates. Alright, so now all we care about are purples. Show me the purples. Anybody purples? For those who want to know, I'm basically holding down the space bar and it flips them over automatically, and then when they're all flipped over, I hit the space bar again. And that just opens up a new chest. It's kind of the quick way to do this. So you don't have to click on anything, because really all I care about is the purples. Hey! So there's all champs damage, so that's going to help make him a buffer. And I still got 5 chests left, so we can get halfway through another pity timer. See if the luck favors me today and I get a purple before we hit it, but nope. Alright, it's all done. Hey, Gaarawarr's live talking about setting up Kroll stacks and doing deep Azaka farming runs. Wow! How did they know? Oh, where's Omen again? Oh, he's over here. So there we go. So I've got a purple on his all champs damage, and then I've got a shiny epic for contractual obligations. So that's gonna be real nice. That's gonna be real nice. So yeah, so we are gonna set that up. But first, today we see the first Azaka formation with Delana. Oh, Khaleesi, you're hurting me so much. Hurting me so much. You know what we will see today, though? Alcoria's Stone Mantle. Alcoria is coming to the game, finally. When people say hashtag Alcoria win, it's a long-standing joke, because Alcoria was teased to us before Dragonbait. And that's fine. I mean, they did say Alcoria is going to be coming to the game in the future. They were right. It's just, it was a long time, folks. I think a lot of people would have rather seen Alcoria show up when Dragonbait showed up and then have Dragonbait show up next, but that's just not how things fleshed out. So it is the way it is. And if we click over, if you want to read more about Alcoria, you head over to the Codename Entertainment website. She's got her champion spotlight up. As you can see, right here. Swaps with Calliope in slot 5. Slot 5 is now the most packed slot. When she arrives, it will be 7 champions in that slot. She will be arriving next Wednesday with the content update. That does mean you have to go out and unlock her. You have to complete her variant requirements or whatever it is she needs you to complete to unlock her. I believe Mars, I asked him a couple days ago if he was planning on doing that on stream. So he will be attempting on Mars' Guiding Hand next week, unless something changes, to unlock Alcoria. Basically, the way she works, I won't go into this in too much detail because we want to get into the Azaka farming. She is going to buff spellcasters. So this is going to be, if you're using a lot of Gem, which you picked up in an Egg Heron's Day event, she's going to buff spellcasters, so she'll work with Gem. She'll also work with the aforementioned Delana. So maybe this is one of the ways we see Delana finally rise. The more spellcasters in your group, the more bonuses she gets. She's got all kinds of stuff here, from affecting your attack speed to affecting, positional abilities. There's just a grab bag of things going on here. And then, of course, she is a Defender of Waterdeep, so she's going to give you a little bit more bonus if you're actually doing Waterdeep stuff with her. She has 2 different ultimates. So her spec choices basically tell you which ultimate she's getting. One brings that Shield Guardian that was standing behind her into the game, and lightning bolts everywhere based off that. And the other one brings the urchins, Nat, Jinx, and Squidly, onto the screen to throw things. I guess it's going to depend on what you want out of that. This is the coolest thing, though, the Jarlaxle Stuffy. I don't know why that reduces her cooldown, but I'm all for it. Yeah, all for it. Give me more stuffies. So yeah, so we're going to see her. And, you know, if you spec right, her shield guardian right behind her in the game next week. If you're high enough. This is, of course, you know, mid to in-game content. I would say still, it's heavily into the mid-game, I would say. Unlocking Alcoria. We'll see. We'll see how hard it is. Let me catch up real quick on chat before we dive into Azaka. Oh man, you popped a shiny off stream. No, we got that on stream last Friday. You can go check the VOD. When we were opening up Omen silver chests on stream. Oh god, Delana has a gold find weekend buff? Oh yeah, we should talk about that. We should talk about that. It is a Delana weekend. But the GE is for Shandy's Explosive Arrow, which if you use her for a buff is, or for buffing, is going to help you out. Everybody's got like 200%, so Bardic Inspiration 200%. Delana's is Gold Find 200%, which is, this may be the first time she's been buffed usefully in a weekend event. Ayla's Storm Soul 200%. Neris' Spiritual Weapon 200%. And you can't see it because it's behind here, but I think it's Shandy's, it should be Shandy's Explosive Arrow 200%. So if you use Shandy to push, like in a background formation, if you're not using Kroll, like if you're using Kroll in a foreground, yeah. There you go. There you go. Are they always going to be adding evergreens? Yeah, I believe so. I feel like the idea is there will always be at least one evergreen in each campaign. In Tomb of Annihilation, they gave us 2. They gave us 1 about halfway through, and then they capped off kind of at the end of all the variants with Dragonbait, right? So Azaka was the first one, and then Dragonbait was the last one. So I don't know if they're going to hold true to 2, but we should at least get 1, right? Yeah. Okay, I think I've kind of addressed this. We're going to jump into this. Like I said, this is going to be one of those streams where I'm doing a lot of talking and not necessarily a lot of answering questions, at least for this first part. I don't know how long it's going to take. The goal here will be to ideally hit 40 stacks on something, preferably a gym mimic, but I can't guarantee that. But basically, this is going to kind of tell you how I go about trying to stack up, because last week in chat, someone asked about, hey, can you do a deep push and show, like, Kroll stack getting lots of stacks, and also could you show, like, you know, the newer champions like Freely and Omen, like how do you put those in Azaka formations? And so we're gonna do like chat request, and I actually wrote it down last week, and I'm now gonna throw that away, as everybody knows. ASMR. I like throwing away post-its when I complete things on my to-do list. All right. So here we go. So I will most likely be ignoring chat to a little bit. How to unlock Azaka. That is, again, in Tomb of Annihilation. If you want to hit up the wiki, hold on, or the Reddit wiki, excuse me. This link should take you to my guides. The Nightbot should help out. There you go. There's a post on Azaka, and in that post, under Evergreen Champions, in that post it explains how to unlock her. All right, so here we go. So this is kind of roughly the formation I used to push. As you can see, I ran an Ishii formation just to see if it was going to get me deeper than Omens. Originally, I had done Omens, and I pushed actually over 800 in Omens. So Omens formation actually works out better for me as an in-game player with the champions I choose to use, but probably for most player, Ishii's is going to let you push further just because you get to split the damage when the enemies stack up here between 2 champions. Like your 2 tank champions. But yeah. So we're going to try to sit on 785. That's kind of what I figured we would be able to build up 40 stacks. I have Giant Strength and Heroism. This is just from the push. I didn't use Epic for anything else because I didn't want to make things too quick. I wanted you to see kind of what I'm looking for and explain some stuff as we're doing this. So I'm going to pop forward to 785. As I'm going to do so, I've saved a couple formations. I won't always be able to just hit the button and swap out because we may be tanking things, and it won't let you change formations when you're tanking. But so my first one is for to stack up. It's the formation I want to use to stack up all the things and try to get 40 stacks. The next one is this one, basically, is what I use when I then want to kill everything. And then this one is the, as it's titled, Azaka Make It Rain. So basically, these are the champions I'm going to be putting into my party for the most part. We're probably going to swap in. I've got Omen in there. I've got Freely in there, so those are the modern ones. And we'll talk about how Delano would fit into this. You had to do this to me, CNE. I've got to talk about Delano on stream. Man. All right. All right, so here we go. I'm going to hop forward. I'm going to switch over immediately, just with hotkeys, to my stack formation. The stack formation, basically here, what's required is, or not required, what I am attempting to do here is turn something into a mimic with Jim. I actually need all of these off because we don't want to kill anything. We just want to slow things down and hold things up. I see we turned something into a chicken. That's not ideal. But we want to give as much time as possible to Kroll to build his pilfer stacks. As you can see, he's got some going on over here. But he needs time to be able to attack everything and get stacks on everything. And the best way to do that is basically be super tanky. Don't have a DPS. Don't actually try to kill anything. Like I said, Jim accidentally turned something into a chicken, so we're down 1. So I don't know that in this initial setup we're gonna be able to hit 40 stacks. We're looking for Jim to turn something into a mimic. So Jim's Wand of Wonder ability has a 50-50 chance of turning something into either an abyssal chicken or a mimic. We want the mimic. We want the mimic because mimics actually drop 10 times the amount of gold as a regular creature does. It's not some huge outrageous amount, but you know, we're trying to kind of somewhat maximize how much gold we're making. There's the mimic. It popped. All right, so now I don't want Jim in there anymore. So we'll swap Freely out. We just want to get one mimic. We're not looking for mimics on mimics on mimics. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use our ultimates, which now our bud has dropped enough so it's not going to kill anything. We basically want to make sure that we're keeping everything as alive as possible. So we're building up shields on like Tyrell with his bite. We're putting a wall up so they can't attack things. We're basically delaying our ability to, or their ability to kill us for as long as possible. Because the longer we can keep them alive, the better chance we're going to have to get this little green tin, this is his Pilfer Plague, on everyone. But we also want to make sure that we have the pain stacks on everyone. So when we do actually try to attack, everything dies. Now, the key of this, along with having what Kroll wants, which is super tanky tanks, is making sure that Kroll has the other thing he wants, which is both of his Virulent Strain feats. So Virulent Strain is the key here. It's not even going to talk about it there because it's not something that shows up as a buff. When an enemy with a Draconic Plague dies, there's a 30% chance, well, it's 30% because I have both of these feats, that its plagues will transfer to another enemy. It's possible for an enemy to gain multiple copies of the same plague when this occurs, which will stack multiplicatively. There's the broken point for it, folks. This is what makes Kroll broken, is each of these stacks, which he can get up to 4 instances of 10, so up to 40, apply against each other multiplicatively, and that's where the math goes all wonky. When I talk about Kroll being broken, this is what I'm referring to. He is very overpowered in this regard. The math just goes a little crazy. When you get to 40 stacks, you don't see it most of the time, like at 10 or 20 stacks. It's not as noticeable, but once you get to 30 and 40, it gets a little freaky. All right, so our Mimic has 10 stacks of Pilfer, well, 10 stacks of everything. So we're getting to the point now, as you see things bumped back, that we almost have it everywhere. We almost have everything everywhere, and that's kind of what we're going for. So while we wait, I am going to look at the chat. Let's just pop. We'll do a little stun. Again, I'm firing these off not to hurt anyone, just to keep my team alive. I'm not looking to actually kill anything at the moment. This is the important part of getting Kroll to a 40 stack on anything. is you want to keep them alive for a very long time until you're pretty positive that everything has all the plagues. Can you test if Delta buffs are applying? I mean, we'll look at it later. I don't know. I have not put Delta in yet, and I'm not going to do it at the moment. Does Spurt's debuff continue to help when you switch out for Gromma? It shouldn't. I didn't think Spurt had a... Spurt buffs other champions around him, if I remember correctly, so I don't believe so. Unfortunately, the best of the two virulent strain feats is a random drop from Golden Chest. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You want to, you know, this stacking up to like a 40 stack Mimic is definitely kind of one of those hashtag in-game goals, right? Like you need both of those feats, and one of those feats comes from gold chests. So you've got to open lots and lots of gold chests to be able to ever get there. But once you are, this is the kind of stuff you can pull off. So, Hethalian, why didn't they say anywhere in the definition that they put it to 40 stacks max? If I remember right, it was not limited at all on first release. Right, but it was outrageously broken on first release because there was no limit, and they nerfed it down to 40. So, you know, you can put in feedback for them to update that it's 4 instances max, but, you know, it is what it is. It was unforgivably broken at release to the point where people were farming outrageous amounts of gold on low levels. Like, you didn't even have to get into the 700s to farm just insane amounts of gold because you could stack hundreds and hundreds of stacks. It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of it. So we do have, I feel like we've got everybody up to 40 stacks or up to 10 stacks. So this is where we're going to see if we can get the trigger to happen. We're going to swap over to what would be our clear formation. So I'm going to bring Regis in. So remember, I had that set up over here. So I have Regis in my clear formation because he's going to do some debuffing, and then I'm going to bring in Zorbu, who's going to do some attacking. And Zorbu is just going to set Bud here. So we got up to 183. There we go. Oh, 30 stacks. So we got real close, folks. That's 30. Now on a prior stream, I just stopped and said, okay, now here's how you set up. Here's how you set up an Azaka farm. Well, no, that's not the goal here. So we got real close just by clearing all that out. Oh, and he died because we have so much damage. So we're going to swap back over and bring Jim back in. And I've got to remove these and resave because that should not be. Just going to overwrite that one. I don't want ults going off. So let's just back up and do this again. So this is the kind of monotonous thing that a lot of people don't really want to do 40 stacks for. Because it takes a while. And 30, honestly, 30's enough. It doesn't even have to be a Mimic. 30 stacks on anything that you have alive after trying to do this is going to get you a lot of gold. A lot of gold. So, you know, if you just have 10 or 20, I would say keep trying. If you can get 30, fantastic. But if you really want to push yourself, and just for once, like be able to say, I got 40 stacks on something and farmed it. You know, that's kind of what we're going with here. So while this is stacking up again, we're at the point here where we're just going to be kind of defensively sitting and waiting for a Mimic. So I just have to be ready to swap Jim out once we see the Mimic, because I don't want multiple Mimics, and I don't want the Mimic to accidentally turn into an Abyssal Chicken. So while we're doing that, I will try to grab some questions from chat. At what point do you worry the boss will start out-damaging the shield's ability? Maelstrom, at my level, never. I don't expect that to happen while we're doing this at all. And the reason is I have a maxed cooldown ult for Tyrell, and I have his health as a golden epic with 1,000 levels, and I have Ayla's health as a golden epic, not with 1,000 levels, but still. The shields we're talking about here is 5 EO8 for her, which is over 10 times her health, and his is, well, it's currently at 2 EO8, which again, 7 to 8 times his health, but his Tyrells can just get outrageous. Tyrells can be like 100 times his health. This is one of the reasons why I say that their health should be capped on their shields. Just like Calliope. Calliope gives like it's 200%, it's capped at 200%. I just think that tanks could be 300 or 400% because Calliope shields everyone and a tank's only shielding themselves, but I just don't think it should be uncapped. So I don't think that these two tanks are ever going to die to these enemies. I mean, if we just sat here forever and ever and ever, sure. But wait, so you can go to 40 instead of 10? Thully, yeah, that's what Virulent Strain does, and that's Virulent Strain is what breaks Kroll. If Kroll didn't have Virulent Strain as ability, he'd be totally fine. He'd be balanced. Hell, he'd probably have another ability that would actually make him more useful with like Archon and Evil People, which is kind of where his theme feels like it should go. Gar, which platforms do you use for your main account and for your gear list? Main account is Steam, as you can see right down below the stream over there. Right down below the Champ UI, it says main account Steam. When we switch over to gear list, that's a WebGL account from Codename Entertainment site, so like games.codenameentertainment.com or something like that. I just went straight from them. I'm still not seeing a Mimic unless it's buried in this pile somewhere, but I feel like it would pop out a bit if we saw it. There it is. Hey, speaking of popping out a bit. So I guess it was hiding back there. Well, now we see it. Now we know. Now we just need to make sure that all of these little guys have some kind of plague on them. The more plagues, the better. What happens if you swap Omen out during Contractual Obligations active effect? Oof. I don't think you still get the gold fine, but you can test that out yourself, I guess. It probably just wipes the buff, because I don't think you're going to keep the timer, but again, you can try to figure that out. Wow, did we literally kill everything? Oh, Averin, you and your overpowered ultimate. Alright, well, unfortunately, that means we have to reset again. I'm at a weird point here where even though I had what felt like low bud, since, 204 is where I had hit a max earlier and it's dropped down in the 180s, I thought I could ultimate and not kill everything, but apparently not. That was really strange. Averin sometimes just destroys things. Off the top of your head, do you know who our main DPS is probably going to be for Castor Coria formations? Does this make Strix viable again, or dare I say Delana? I mean, it could be either of them. Jim would be the obvious choice. A lot of people have been using him as a DPS in formations already, and enjoying him. But I mean, it's potentially it's really going to depend on what her upgrades look like, and by her I mean Alcoria. Like, all we know is kind of how she's theoretically going to work. I just saw a Mimic there. All right, there we go. We're swapping out. We have to wait until we see how she gets her upgrades. We just know what the abilities do. Until we see how those multiply and how many upgrades do they get while they're leveling. What feat support does she get? We know what her items do, so we can get a little bit there, but we need to know all the rest of that information to know if she's actually going to suddenly change the meta and make Magic what everybody wants to do. And at that point, then it's just like, who's your best geared champion that does magic damage, and are they going to fit with all the other magic casters? Like, if you're building a full magic formation, that brings a lot of things back on the table that people haven't necessarily been using. You're planning on opening Modron chests for your Gillis account for better plumbing? No, Mars did make a ruling. For those of you who missed it, he talked about it on his Mars' Guiding Hand this week. He said, no chests still. Like the Vow of Poverty accounts, aka Gearless accounts, you're not allowed to open any chests. So what you can use are the starter pipes, which if we look real quick, oh, that's not the right screen. This is the right screen. These that are out here that you see with this setup, this is the starter pack they give you when you unlock, when you complete Split the Party. So this is how they want you to set it up. You can grab automation and you can grab both buffs at just the basic level. So that's what you can do with Gearless if you're attempting to run a Gearless account. But that's all you're allowed to do per Mars. I do have another pipe there. There's a purple one. That one came as from the Summer Spectacular. So any kind of free pipes they give us, I'm totally going to use. But I'm not going to open chests. So. Which means, once I finally can finish enough of Vajra's variants to max out the health buff she gets, we will attempt Dragon Bait on stream, but, I mean, depending on what Elcoria's unlock variant looks like, we may not be able to get Elcoria on Garrulus. We'll see. How long do you typically have the game client running? While active or 24/7? Oh, I shut it off every night when I go to bed. I shut off my computer every night when I go to bed, period. I start it, when I get up in the morning, I turn it back on, and I usually fire up Idle Champions, and then it's on until I shut it off again. Barring any crashes, but crashes haven't been super frequent. One every couple days, maybe. And usually because I'm using lots of, like if I'm doing lots of speed potions or something and getting a little crazy with stuff like this, that makes you kind of have to restart at that point. Alright, so once again, we will... I'm kind of tempted just to pop his ultimate again and see if we wipe everybody out. Oh, I'm not seeing plague stacks on this guy though. All right, we gotta give it a little longer. 40 stacks is all about patience. So you only swap out one champion. Oh, in this I've taken out my DPS so that I don't accidentally kill these things, and I've swapped from Regis over to Dinar. Because in this setup, that Dinar is going to push back occasionally, and that lets me look at the enemies, so I can see if they've got their plagues. See, like this one has Traitor and Pilfer, but doesn't have Pain. This one has Traitor and Pain, but doesn't have Pilfer. Like we need everything to have, preferably Pilfer and Pain. So we've just got to wait. We've just got to wait. It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. All right. How far back from your wall are you to withstand waiting so long to get the 40 stacks? Like, I walled at 790. So we're at 785. The only reason I'm showing this here instead of 790 is because on 790, it was having issues. Like I said, I couldn't even really beat 790. So I could have cleared the boss. I think I killed the boss and was left with an enemy, but I wanted to make sure we were having like some easier clears, so I dropped back 5 levels just for demonstration purposes. Normally I would, if I can clear everything but one mob because of Kroll, I mean that's a Kroll leftover issue. If I can clear everything but one mob on a boss level and that's my wall, then I do it on my wall. Hey, want to learn how to set up Kroll stacks? Yeah. Don't you need to open the 4 chests from Split the Party to get the automation and 2 buffs? No. When you first unlock multi-party and Modron Adventure, you are given, just automatically without opening any chests, a set of pipes, and those pipes will. This was a feedback thing that when it came out and first started being beta, like you could open chests and not be able to hook anything up because the pipes you got might not even be able to go to automation. So we were like, look, you need a starter pack that at the very least lets you hook up automation. But better, automation and both first buffs. And that's what they did. So you get those, plus you get 4 chests from Split the Party. So, yeah. Does that make second core worth for your Garrus account for the percent damage? I mean, just automation alone on a Garrus account is great, but and any little buffs you can get for damage are always nice because you don't gear on a Garrus account. So, yeah. What's the maximum amount of bonus favor you can earn from an event? There isn't a max, y'all. Right now, I didn't mention this. Right now, I'm at 2.6 E34 in the event. That came from running all the way to 814, I think. But right now, I'm already up to 1 E35. I don't even have gold find potions. So when we go to finally Azaka farm this, she should make it rain. We should get to, dare I say E37. It might be E36. Because we aren't as far as I was, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe E37, maybe E38. But that's just me. There are other people who could push super deep and like further than me. There are people who clear 900. So further you go, the more gold you make. Isn't there a danger of the tanks being overpowered? Not on my account. No, not for me. Again, this is a function of Tyrell. As you can see, his shields are 9 to 10 times his health. value. Ayla's shields are over 10 times her health value currently. Oh no, right about 10. Yeah, they're not really going to hurt me. Hers automatically pops every 30 seconds. Tyrell's is on this, so like if I just set a familiar here, he'll keep resetting his shield every 30 seconds because I have tons of gear and because I have his cooldown maxed. Yeah, they're just going to tank forever. Ayla is a great pickup if you wanted like a super tanky tank because she does kind of rely on her health to tank, but it's really her shields that protect her. When you're popping that shield every 30 seconds and you've got a decent health pool, no one's getting through it. So hers just happens automatically. Tyrell's requires a big gear investment, but his can get bigger than that. Like if we had it, his is based on the number of enemies he bites. So on a boss level, it's limited. You know, you get the 10 trash mobs and then the boss. But if you're on a regular level, you can have up to 100 enemies on the screen, and his shield just gets outrageous. So yeah, for me, there's no chance of the tanks being overpowered here. Are Freely Calliope Chris Thriss doing anything for you here? Right now, Silent, the only things that matter are my tanks and maybe Dinar. Oh, Dinar and Kroll. I could have everybody else out of this formation at the moment, and we'd be fine. Because right now, all I'm doing is getting Plague everywhere. Once I bring Zorbu in, then yeah, they're buffing. You know, they're providing buffs or debuffs to help me clear, which I think we're finally to the point where we can attempt to pop this. I think the last time I saw the boss, he's what we were waiting on, and I think I saw him with Plague stacks. Dinar, could you just shove him back for me? Maybe? Maybe? No, he's just not going to do it. Ayla does a little knockback too. That's with the one that you see just kind of coming back here. But Dinar's the one that shoves him real far back. Anything? No, they're not gonna help. That's the Dinar pushback. All right, so let's just. Oh wait, I want my debuffer in first, Regis. And then we want this. I'm gonna take that off, so we don't accidentally kill things with everything with an ultimate. There we go. Oh no, nothing spread. Well, time to do it again. Oh joy. Oh joy. And that can happen, folks. That's RNG. This is the fun of trying to get 40 stacks. Are those shields only for Calliope? No, Calliope's too far back in this formation to shield the front line. And Calliope's shields cap, again, I think we just talked about this. Calliope's shields cap at 200% of a champion's max HP. Ayla and Tyrell don't have caps on their shields. This is something that needs balance. I think Wolfgar doesn't have a cap either. Korth doesn't either. I don't think any of the other shielders except for Calliope have a cap, and that's because when they way back in the day when they made the changes to tanking, suddenly because of the way Calliope worked, she was uncapped with her shields. You could put a DPS in the front line as a tank. I think I saw a Mimic in there, so we're going to swap. You could put a DPS in the front line as a tank, and Calliope's shield could just let them tank further than... just as well as tanks, basically, because of the amount of shield it was. Shields were a much bigger deal, became a much bigger deal for tanking than ever before. And they still are, so they had to cap Calliope shields at 200%, so you couldn't just use a DPS to tank. But now, they didn't cap any of the other shielders, so all of those shields are coming in. Ayla is a self-shielder, Tyrell is a self-shielder, they are giving themselves shields. Calliope's not doing anything here, she's just buffing. She's just a buffer because she's got over 1,000 levels on all of her items. She is a fantastic buffer for me. Guy from Germany needs to go to bed. I'll VOD it tomorrow. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Bloody Minnow. You're not using Jim? I'd already used Jim. I used Jim to make a Mimic, and then Jim comes out. You don't want Jim in after he makes a Mimic, because he could turn that Mimic into a chicken, or he could make more Mimics, or he could accidentally turn other things into chickens and kill them off before. This is why people are like, I can never get 40 stacks. Well, it's because usually you might be just killing things quickly, and you can't. You have to stop. You have to slow everything down. Just kind of let it set. Let those plagues fester and build up, and then clear them off. Because if you're doing it before that, well, you're lowering your chance. You're lowering your chance to actually have virulent strain proc. Which campaign is better to focus? Sword until all patrons are complete and move to the next, or something else? Oh, Schmickel. No, you don't really focus right away. When you first start, you kind of want to do enough in each campaign to grab the first global blessing in a tier. So this one, the double damage. Every campaign has one. Do that for everything except for Avernus. Avernus is rough early on. And then that's just going to give you damage to be able to push further. And then most people consider Tomb of Annihilation the better campaign to push because that's where you get Azaka. And Azaka is going to just make your favor runs just increase by leaps and bounds. Which we'll get to and demonstrate here in a moment. Well, not in a moment, but at some point today. We've still got another hour and 20 minutes. If we go another hour and we still have 40 stacks, we're going to take what we can get. So I would say, do each of the campaigns enough to get that tier 1 global. Did my mimic go away? I don't see the mimic anymore. I swear I had seen a mimic. My eyes are playing tricks on me. All right, we'll get Jim back in there. Basically do Tomb of Annihilation as your first focus. Because you can grab Azaka, and you can also grab Dragonbait if you go all the way through. It's also a bit of an easier campaign to push, because the blessings there give you like health reduction and bonuses on things that other campaigns don't normally do. So you can move through it pretty quickly. And then you can just, dance around to whichever one you want after that. Sword Coast is actually the hardest campaign to push because you only get 9 champions in your formation. All the other campaigns get 10 currently. But temp HP doesn't stack, does it? So Course Shield becomes miserable pretty fast. I mean, his is okay. Yeah, it's not at the high end. I don't consider his high end broken. It's champions like Ayla and Tyrell that are a problem. Wolfgar, I haven't tested just how crazy his gets. There's the Mimic. Now we can bring Jim out. I haven't tested how horrible Wolfgar's gets, because frankly, usually most people aren't deep tanking with Wolfgar, and his only really goes super high against a boss and not against everything, whereas Ayla and Tyrell's works on everything. So, what do you advise about bounty contracts? To collect them and wait new champions so strong and useful like Kroll or Avon and invest all contracts in them, or not wait and invest now in strongest champion of every event? Oh, neither of those. Ojaleg. I spread mine out. Bounty contracts, or not bounty contracts. I believe we're talking about, well, hold on. We're talking blacksmithing or bounty? Bounty contracts I use on every event. That's my thing, is I basically burn through all my bounty contracts every event. The very first run that I do at my wall. And then because I save them up and only use them every event, I get the same amount of, roughly the same amount of tokens every event that I can use for filling up whatever champion I want. This makes sure that my champions stay fairly evenly geared. For instance, if we were to pop a blacksmithing contract, which is what I thought we were talking about first, you'll see that everyone except for Beetle and Grim and Omen, who is brand new, are in full epics. And their item levels are at least 60, unless they're brand new. Beetle and Grim are even over 60, but Omen's is still low because it's still brand new in his event, and he will go up as I get him full epic. So I try to just make sure that I'm spreading out gear evenly amongst all my champions, because there are lots of crazy variants in the game. They're going to require you to use all of your champions and rotate through your pool. And I want to make sure I can complete those easily. If you use speed pots, it's better, but yes, this takes a long time. Yeah, we could be using speed potions, but in the past I have, but because I wanted to demonstrate how to do this and what you're looking for, I wanted it to run at normal time, because it's hard to demonstrate when something's going like I can't point out. Like I can catch it if I'm watching, because I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm not sure that everybody would be able to catch it that's watching the stream and learning how to do this. So for educational purposes, we're doing this in real time. Every time Jim changes something, it loses all of its Kroll stacks, right? Yes, which is why you want to set up the Mimic at the beginning, ideally. I have gotten so lucky as to be like the first wave of 5, the first attack of Wand of Wonder turned something into a Mimic, and I was like, hey, I get to pull Jim out right away. That's ideal, but sometimes it takes a while. And sometimes it's really hard to see because you've got enemies stacked up. That's why I like Dinar. Dinar is just, because I'm not trying to kill anything here, Dinar is just going to push things back. I get a nice little sneak peek at what everybody's got. What everybody's got on them. And it helps. If my item levels are significantly lower than users, might it be smart to add Korth's shields to that team? No, if your item levels were significantly lower, you'd just move Calliope up to here for this portion. Right? Because from here, Calliope is going to be shielding tanks. And you'd be fine. But I still think probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, you would just put her here. She's going to kick her shields in and, you know, and you would then just fire off her Impale every now and then, which, you know, puts an even bigger shield. Yeah, it'd be fine. Do you recommend using speed potions to help with this process, or does it just make it trickier? It's going to be, I would say initially, like when you're first learning how to do this, you're probably just going to want to do it in real time like this. Once you get the hang of spotting like when your Mimic procs and does that, and getting the feel for how long it takes to get full plague stacks and everything, and then you can start speeding up the process. But it just depends on how much time you have to spend with it. We've got 2 hours with each other today, so I wasn't in a hurry. It has taken me an hour to get 40 stacks on something before, and that was with speed potions, so who knows? Who knows? What roughly Bud damage do you need to be able to unlock Azaka? Ooh, I have no idea, because Bud wasn't a thing back when Azaka first came out. I can tell you you roughly need E18, at least E18 gold on a geared account to get Dragon Bait, and Dragon Bait is way after Azaka and much harder, so yeah. Basically, the best way to do it is to, when you get to Azaka's variant, is to just manually pull that middle slot champion out on a free play of Tomb of the Nine Gods and see if you can go through and kill the boss with just 9 champions like that. Because that would be simulating the actual group you would be using. And you'll know if you can do it or not. Back in the day, the hardest part was the Juggernaut, but Dinar makes that super easy, as does some other things, if you have Dinar. But in general, Azaka isn't super, super difficult like she was when she first came out. Mimic to chicken, that can happen if you leave Jim in, yeah. Jim doesn't care. The only thing he won't change into a chicken is the boss. So I think we're ready. Let's pop them. I can't remember. Have we been using an ultimate, or did they just kill it? Oh, they just die on their own. This is how I know I'm nowhere near what my actual wall would be, because I can kill so easily. I got hung up earlier on killing that one mob. I just couldn't get the random Kroll action on it. Come on, show me what's going on. Bite, chomp. There we go. Oh, we did it, folks. Ding, 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 ding. There you go, live on stream. And it only took 50 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. So there's a 40 stack Mimic. That's what we were shooting for. Right now, I've removed my familiars off my toolbar. I don't care about the clicker ones. They're not going to kill anything. But I just don't want to accidentally knock the last 2 chunks of armor off this Mimic and have to start over. So I'm going to sit here for a while and let the bud drop. Let the bud drop. Because we need to use, to farm with Azaka, you have to fire her ult off. So I don't want to accidentally kill this with an Azaka ult with a super high bud, because it doesn't matter that we set this a while ago. This thing could totally die. It's E190 health, and we had E196. We're still at E192. Yeah, we do not want any ults going off. This is why I didn't have an epic fire breath potion either. Like, yeah, there's reasons for things, right? So we're going to sit here for a little. I will catch up in chat. and we will let that bud drop slowly but surely until it's safe for us to farm this thing. Farm it all. Gar, can you talk about when it makes sense to set up an Azaka farm, or how often would it really be a benefit to a newer player to do this? Yeah, Ragnar. Basically, when you're a newer player, when you get to what feels like a wall, where you're not able to progress any further, the level ups have kind of stopped, like the ones that are actually impactful, you've stopped getting, and you don't feel like you can push any further because you're not gaining gold anymore. That is when, hold on. We want to make sure. One thing about mimics is they eat. They like to eat. They chomp real hard with their teeth. So we're going to get some shields up on Tyrell with Calliope, hopefully. Anyway, okay, so you want to make sure that when you're getting to your wall, or what feels like your wall, then you can set up an Azaka farm, like we've done today. Basically, it doesn't have to be a mimic. You don't have to have Gem. You just need to kill off everything down to one regular enemy. Technically, you could do it with the boss, but that's trickier because the boss enrages. So generally, the preferred method is to get to just one regular enemy. And then, bring Azaka out and your gold farm team, which we'll go over here shortly, and then farm. Now, what happens then is when you've farmed for a little bit, and you feel like, okay, you've got a lot, and your farm is slowed down to the point where it's not increasing a lot. Like you're looking at this number, and that percent increase has just kind of stopped really going up very quickly. It's slowing down to a crawl. Bring your regular team back in. Level them up efficiently, which means level up to the next major upgrades that are going to help you push forward, and see if you can then push your wall a little further. You might get another 10, 20 levels. You might even get more. And you can do that every time you hit a wall if you're really trying to push super far. Until you hit what feels like your actual wall, like the full deep wall. You just can't, even with Azaka, make any more gold to level people up. Mid-game to veteran players who know like they're pushing super deep, they can soft cap, which is where you see down here where there's the circle and a line through it. When you're soft capped and you hit your wall like I did, that's when you Azaka farm. Gold isn't helping you anymore. So getting more gold isn't going to help you push deeper. What you need is more power, and there's just no more power to be had from gold. And then that's when you set up your Azaka farm. This is kind of how you figure it out. So newer players can actually run multiple Azaka farms on the same adventure because they're just moving their wall a little bit. If you only move it a couple levels, it's not worth it because you'd be dropping back to that boss level. But if you can get to the next boss, do it again there, but you can't get much further. Try it, until you just can't get to another boss, basically. That's really, really, really pushing favor, and it may not be super worth it for your time. That's just one of those things you have to kind of figure out. I don't know why we're not getting a shield show up here. Is it just that his health is outrageous and the shield's so tall? Oh yeah, the shield's just super small. Oh well. It's when you get used to gigantic shields that show up like more than the health does, then you see Calliope's and you're like, oh, that's what a balanced shield looks like. All right, Modron levels have limit. If they have, how gain component chests after? Darth Junius, Modron's cap at level 15. After that, you get them from the patron shop. And you can get that even before from the patron shop. I already bought mine this week. You can get one from each patron. We currently have 3. The 4th has been announced. It has been confirmed by Codename Entertainment that, well, at least I shouldn't say the 4th. A future patron will be Zariel from the Descent into Avernus campaign, and she will arrive once we complete the Descent into Avernus campaign. I don't know if we might get a patron before that. That's why I wanted to say not necessarily the 4th. Yeah. So that's how you get more chests, for free. Otherwise, you can buy them, or they come in wild offers. Like you buy them directly, or they come in wild offers. Oh, you know what I should do? Hold on. I can actually use some speed here, just to make this degrade a little faster. Actually, we'll throw well, at this point we could throw a lot of speed on, but I won't throw too much. I just want this to degrade a little faster so that we're not in danger of accidentally killing it. Hey J84, sorry if I missed it, but outside of Azaka farming, do you usually keep both Virulent Strain feats equipped for Kroll? I do, yeah. Virulent Strain feats are really the only feats you want on Kroll. Once you actually start your Azaka farm, I'm going to explain. I'm going to go through and show how feats get adjusted. You actually switch off of his feats into his Gold Find feats, because you can switch his feats without resetting stacks. You just can't switch his specialization. I think this may be another reason I'm a little lower than normal. I think I set him up with Pilfer. I did. Yeah, so this is why I didn't push as far as I did before, which I cleared 800 doing before. Is because I didn't go full pain in his thing. I wanted just all the golds, which worked out well because, I mean, I got here and I'm already at E35, which was E01 higher than where I was. After you get your 40 stacks, you swap feats, right? Yeah, because you still have to be able to kill everything before that. I need to blow my nose here for a second, so hold on, folks. Okay, I can always tell when I'm going to sneeze. And you guys can probably tell too, because if I'm like, it's like I can tell my nose wants to sneeze and then it happens right afterwards. All right. Stupid allergies. Man, just reading the closed caption would be pretty funny what it comes up with. Yeah, it's actually pretty dead on. If I'm right about here and I'm talking right into the mic, it can pick up just about all of my kind of enunciation. It doesn't necessarily spell enunciation correctly, but it gets a little off back here. And then if I'm using words that it doesn't recognize, like Kroll, yeah, it has problems. What changes in results of tokens of taken events, tokens, and gold if I boost speed of game by speed potions 10x before my bounty contracts? I'm going to boost profit from using bounty. You can't, really. So with a bounty contract, it is going to give you... It is based off X amount of time. Nothing affects that amount of time other than the size of the bounty contract. It doesn't matter how fast your game is running. It is a certain set amount of time, period. You can see it when you hover over them. Boom. So smalls are worth 30 minutes. Mediums are worth 4 hours, and larges are worth 8 hours, and that's just the fixed amount. If you want, so when it comes to event tokens, it's always going to drop the same number of event tokens. Did we? Hold on. I saw that. We had an animal pop up because we killed a distraction in the background that spawned animals, and we don't need that. So I got to take all the familiars out now. Now, the gold you earn from bounty contracts can be affected by how deep into your push you open it. So that's in terms of the gold you get from them. But most people don't open them specifically for the gold. They usually save them for events and get the event tokens. When I did Azaka farm, I usually never got above 20 stacks and didn't earn that much favor. What I noticed a big difference for going to 4. Oh, yeah. Just 30. Just 30 is a big difference. Because, again, 20 stacks means you have 2 instances of 10 stacks. Each of those stacks of 10 multiplies against each other to produce the total overall increase in gold dropped. Add another 10 stacks to that to multiply against it. Obviously, the numbers, as you multiply more instances, your numbers are just going insane. So even 30 stacks is going to get you more. Like right now, Pilfer is 178.2% more per stack. So that's 1782%, right? And let me screw up my closed captioning with a multiplier. So 1782 times another 1782 suddenly becomes 3 million %, right? So if I did that math, yeah, that's because this is, 3 million %, right? So that's just if I go from 10 stacks to 20 stacks, right? So if I go I forget that I've got my gear factored in. If I go all the way to 30 stacks, I'm suddenly at 5 billion%. And if I go to 40 stacks, I am at 10 trillion%. So yeah, if you weren't seeing a lot of gold at 20 stacks, chances are you will at 30 and definitely will at 40. Gar, is that how you deep runs on 0 favor event runs? Where I am, I can just run. I don't need to Azaka farm. Before I got all the gear and the blessings and the perks, yes, that's exactly how I max things out. I would push to a wall. I wouldn't be soft capped, so I would open silver chests. I would push further. I would open bounty contracts. I would push further. I would Azaka farm. I would push further. Once I got soft capped, then I just pushed to the end, and that was it. But you get to a certain point where you don't have to do all those tricks to do super deep on an initial run. Okay, so we have it set up. Avrin is setting Bud at E184. Oh, silly Avrin. I have a gold find group here. I'm going to try to swap over to it real quick. Yeah, okay. And the Mimic ended up at the right spot. So this is going to be my Azaka formation. They're all attacking super fast, so I'm going to go through and explain everybody. Obviously, you need Azaka. She's back here in the back. She is the were tiger. So she is currently our only were person. We have Kroll. Obviously, he needs to stay in because he's the one that dropped all those stacks. Don't accidentally take him out. Now we have the new Freely boy. And we've got Omen, who I just saw him hit his contractual obligations. It literally makes it rain gold around him. You get these little gold coins. I have Calliope in, not because she increases gold find at all. I have Calliope in because, again, Mimics can chomp through your tanks. Not necessarily as bad at lower levels, but up here, they could kill Wolfgar if I don't have a shield on him. So I have to have her in there for me because I like to just kind of hands off it. Otherwise, you could use Puent. Like you could swap her in, and then before you Azaka ult, you could put Puent in. He buffs. He gives a little bit of a gold find buff as long as he's next to a member of the Companions of the Hall. I've got Regis up here who is in because he's a member of the Companions of the Hall. All the members of the Companions of the Hall, except for Dritz, have a gold find buff that is 100%. That's it. They just have a 100% bonus. It's part of one of their deeper unlocks. Ruby Amplification for him. 100%. Oh, no, wait. Excuse me. Ruby Invigoration. Regis increases the bounty of the Hall pool gold find by 100%. So that's it. You get double gold with him. As you can see, I'm up here at the top, E40% gold find now. This would change based off if we're seeing contractual obligations drop, I would think. Potentially. We'll see. Wait, hold on. Is contractual obligations an increase to gold find or just gold dropped? Yeah, gold find buff. Okay. Cool. So that's going to work. Yeah, there it goes. It popped up to E141, or E41 there for a second. Dritz offers a bigger bonus for his. His is buffed by an item, but he usually gets a bigger bonus plus the item bonuses. So he's got, like as you could tell, his was pretty high up there. Or is it buffed? Oh no, it gets upgrades while he's leveling. That's what it is. So his is right now capped 537.5. He's got something affecting it. Oh, I remember what it is. He's got Narak affecting it. So Narak here, Narak is in the formation because Narak, this is the only good thing Narak does. Gets the right focus, increases the potency of formation abilities of adjacent champions with a wisdom score of 14 or higher by 168.8. So that's buffing our Dritz. It's also buffing our gold find on Brunor. So we have Brunor in. He's another, just again, Companions of the Hall. His is way up here, isn't it? Dwarven Glory is dwarves. Long Law. There we go. So as you can see, his is 268.8, whereas normally it would be 100%. Wolfgar is in as our tank. He is a Companion of the Hall, so again, he's providing a bonus. So everybody here is providing at least a 100% bonus. This would normally be... Oh, wait, I don't have Jarlaxle in. No. Jarlaxle needs to be in here. I am going to put Jarlaxle in for... This is what gets screwed up because now we have Freely and Omen. Jarlaxle's going in for Regis because Regis was just 100%. Jarlaxle's gold find bonus is much higher. Do we get a bonus over here? Yeah, here we go. 3.82 EO 4%. Obviously a better deal than Regis. So now we're just up to E42 flat. Not flat, we're a little above E42, but we're definitely above E42 even when Omen makes it rain. Now, if this was a single tank formation, so Bruenor didn't have to be in the front line. I had him in the front line because I didn't know where the Mimic was going to land. But we could take... Ooh, no. No. Yeah. Even I was going to say, Delana has a buff this weekend, 200% gold find. But yeah, that still doesn't beat his. Oh, man. Oh, man. Sorry, Delana. You still suck. 268.8. So we're still sitting here with the normal Companions of the Hall formation. If you could pull this off without Wolfgar, though. Like, if you could set the Mimic on Bruenor, who could actually be spec'd to be a little tanky in terms of his feats. Like, he has an Overwhelm feat, which wouldn't apply. No, you just have to live with the shield. You'd have to live with the shield. And swap out Bruenor. Yeah, so Delana just doesn't fit. Unless you have an extra Companion of the Hall you can swap out. So going through my feats, now I want to make sure I have feats that are going to give me as much gold find as possible. So I have Wisdom in on Bruenor because that makes him qualify for Narak. For Omen, I've got the All Gold 25 and his Contractual Obligations by 40. We've just got, all the gold find on Jarlaxle. Unfortunately, Calliope doesn't have any. Again, this is where if you wanted to improve this just to get the gold find percent up higher, you would bring in someone else like Puent or Delana. We can now swap off of Virulent Strain into, obviously a gold find by 25%, but also we want Plague Pilfer by 40%, so Golden Rule. So that's going to help out. Already we're up into the top levels of E42, if you'll notice. So we're at 8 E42 just from the 25% bonus there. The Pilfer stuff will always show up afterwards. We need to swap this. This was a damage for Freely, so we're going to put in the 25%, and then we want Yandala Requisition Lucky Break. Because Requisition is his gold find increase. I also want to check and see if I have the right spec for him right now, based off my new setup, to make sure that I have as many people as possible applying those lucky breaks. Narak doesn't have any bonuses for gold find, other than just Githzerai Focus. I've already got the gold stuff in for Drizzt, because this is the only time I use them usually. Wolfgar doesn't have any. And then Azaka, I've got her gold find by 25%. That's all she's got. That's all she's got. Okay, so I need to check. I have freely spec'd, I believe, for Chaos. Wait, I passed it already. Yeah, always expect Chaos. All right, so what do we got? We got Chaos, neutral, lawful, neutral. There's two. Wait, hold on. I don't have Regis. Let me start over. Neutral, lawful. So 2 neutral. 1 lawful, 1 chaos. We've got another lawful. He doesn't matter. Lawful, lawful, chaotic, lawful. So we probably want to go lawful. So there we go. So now we're basically, that means we're every time a lawful champion attacks and a freely attacks, they're basically setting a lucky break, and we're hoping that we get lots of requisition lucky breaks, because requisition is going to give 254% more gold per application. Again, just beating that Delana cap out, and that's with gear. So his can go up with gear. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Depending on what your gear is. So you have to look at what the bonuses you're getting. We are all the way up to 1 E43% though. So that's going to be basically the max we're going to get out of our champions. So at this point, then we bring in... Oh, wait, wrong page. We bring in the huge portion of clairvoyance. We give us an hour of that one. We'll do, yeah, we got an hour left. We'll do an hour of that. And what do we need? 10 of these for an hour? We're just maxing everything out. So that's a full stack of clairvoyant stuff. We're now up to 1E 45% gold find. And we're going to hit that button here in a moment. But real quick, let me catch up in chat because I'm way behind. Sorry if I missed any questions. Y'all been asking a lot. And I've been trying to explain things. Question on soft caps. Do you stop spending any gold at all once champs are soft capped? More or less, yeah. I spent money before on my main DPS, and it seems to increase their bud at least a little, so it seems worth doing. The main DPS is basically the only one you would consider over-leveling. If you go back and watch this VOD later, my Zorbu is actually double his soft cap. That's how much gold I was able to earn. So that does help me push further, but it's not like super outrageous amazing, but it is quite a bit. What feats are running Kroll? I think I already covered that. So it was Virulent Strain up until this point. Now we're doing Gold Find. Best way to get Mert influence, best way to get any influence is to go do their variants. That's the only way you can get their influence. Wouldn't taking Avern, Cthulhu, and Regis out make the bud drop faster? No, it drops a set amount every second. So it's gonna drop faster. It could drop lower. But it doesn't drop faster. More monsters appeared. Yeah, that was that distraction in the background. Of course, at what point should we start looking at breaking down Modron parts into component pieces, and what are the pieces used for? Ooh, Major Higgins. I would wait until you have fully leveled up your first core and have plumbed it as best you can, and then only break them down if you're not going to bother with a second core. Because you need all those pieces. You need all those pieces up front. It's only once you've got all the pieces that you need and everything's fine and that you start breaking them down. Now, what are they for? So component pieces, I say that. This is a holdover from closed beta, so I'm not lying to you. Don't break them down early. Component pieces are used to upgrade. So if we look over here, this is a white, just a white corner. If I go into upgrade, I can upgrade this to a green corner with a 5% bonus, and I have to spend 10 component pieces to do it. If I want to upgrade a blue, it takes 250 component pieces. So depending on what you're upgrading, it costs you different amounts. So 10 for white to green, 50 for green to blue, and 250 for blue to purple. So that's what uses all the upgrade pieces for. All right, we're going to... There's a distraction that spawns monsters? Today I learned. Yeah. There are. Any of the ground distractions in the background, like the bushes and things that are just sitting on the ground, not things that are running across like an animal, but if it's like a bush, like this guy popping his head out, there's a chance that clicking on that guy could spawn more monsters. All right, so we have set up all the gold find that we can. We've stacked all our potions. We're as high as we can get. There is one more thing to watch for with this specific formation, and that is the contractual obligations on Omen. His gold find buff only kicks in when he hits 100. So this is explaining a very manual version of Omen. If you want to really maximize it, you have to wait until this is right before 100. Close this. Wait to see the golden shower. Got to come up with a different name for that. Onto Omen, and then pop Azaka's ultimate. Azaka's ultimate is what makes the gold. So we're at 181E35. We're coming up on him getting his contractual obligations. So we're going to look for this visual effect. That's better. In game. I'm going to hover over here. So we're watching Omen. We need to see gold raining from the sky. If it's going to work. Oh, I'm not seeing anything. We may be going too fast for it to show up. Yeah, we are. It didn't show up. So normally when we're not going this fast, there is a shower of gold coins over Omen. So we're going to have to just watch the gold find percent up here. When we see it go from when we see it move off of 126E45, we'll know that he has met his contractual obligations. Let me catch up over here. Been playing for a while, and Arkan is still my main tank and DPS. What's the main problem with him? The main problem with him is he relies on everybody else in your formation, and he relies on the formation itself. He also needs a lot of levels and certain specific items to be good. And he doesn't come, and even with all that stuff, he doesn't come anywhere near close to kind of what the current meta formation is with other people. So you can play him. You can use him. If you enjoy him, you can do all kinds of stuff in the game. You're just not necessarily going to be able to push as deep or as far or complete certain variants with him. All right, so we're up to 80 in the 80s. I'm going to watch the top left. When that changes from 1 E45, I'm hitting Azaka's ult. Come on. Any day now. There it goes. Oh, no, that went down. 2. There we go. 2, 5, 4. Oh, geez. I got a Gold Hoarder achievement. Look at that. We jumped all the way up to E39, folks. And I was like, I'm not sure if we'll get E36, E37. We went from E35 to E39 with one ultimate. This is what I say when I mean her first ultimate is her most impactful. It's the one that's going to get you that enormous jump. From here on out, we're going to keep farming this while we're playing. We're going to farm it until the end of the stream, and we're going to look at the total. We might get to E40. But I'm now a Gold Hoarder, folks. Ding, 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 ding. Stars in chat. I've been waiting on that one for a while. All right, so now I'm just going to set this up to AFK farm, which basically just means that's all I care about. I just care about putting something there. And now we're going to do all the speed. Because we want to farm. That's a 10x speed stack. So that's basically, in the next hour, I'm basically going to get 10 hours worth of farming done. All right. Gold potions doesn't affect the gold you get from the contracts and chests. Once upon a time, we were told it did, and then I've heard that it from the devs that it didn't, and now I just don't know. So you're going to have to ask that in like a Q&A, probably, to get the answer. The who tiger? No, not the who tiger, the where tiger. We also don't have a why tiger yet. No Jarlaxle. Yeah, we're getting to the point where I'd forgotten to put Jarlaxle in. This is what happens when we get all these new people. It's like, who goes where? What? Why now? I missed why bud lowering is important. Is it so you don't kill the mimic too quickly? Exactly. We don't want to kill the mimic at all. And with our bud as high as it was, we could have accidentally either auto-attacked or accidentally hit an ult. Like if we were trying to stay alive with like a Tyrell, a bite. Like you don't want to kill that mimic once you get 40 stacks on it. And I have before. I've popped a mimic with just one health bar out and been like, ooh, and then forgot to wait to let my bud drop, set everything up, and hit that Azaka ult, and Azaka ult killed it. And I was like, no! Oh my god. It's horrible. Horrible. Why not use Havilar's ult to massively slow the mimic so it can't reach your party? That's a lot of gimmicky stuff. If you want to use it, go ahead. Go ahead. Again, this is how I set up Azaka formations. If you want to do it a different way, or if you just don't have these champions, you know, like I said, you basically want to stack this final formation with Azaka plus anybody who has a gold find bonus that you have, like whoever has the highest gold find bonuses, and then, you know, like a tank and or not or whatever. I mean, it's just based off who you have and what you need to use. This is just the general idea. This for me is a maximum formation. It wouldn't change, even with Del and his gold find buff. I thought it might with her, but no, it doesn't. Like I said, maybe swapping him out if we had done that, but I don't know. That's a little more gimmicky than I want to mess with. Catching up. Yeah, I do have Drift specialization. That Drift has a Bounty of the Hall spec that buffs his gold find. Beetle don't get a permanent gold bonus? Oh, do they? Hold on. To be honest, I've used some Beetle and Grim. I haven't used all of them, and yeah, hold on. Did I miss a gold find buff? This is what happens when they start adding lots of gold find people. Spade, get buff. Whenever Beetle damages an enemy that's not at full health, that enemy will drop 25% gold when it's killed. It goes up to 3,200%. Okay. So, yeah. I would have to swap Bruenor out to do Beetle. And I don't know that it's going to let me. Where even would that be? Oh god, why can I not remember where people are? Oh, no, not for Narak. Oh, maybe. Because Narak's only buffing 2 people. So yeah, that's possible. Let's see what happens. Oh, hold on. Let me grab first. Where were we? 2E45 at the peak. Can't remember if specs affected at all. Hold on. We're getting there, folks. Long rest. I don't necessarily have the feats for him, but that's fine. And who is it again? Which one has to do it? Yeah, when Beetle does that, enemy will drop 1.45 EO4. Okay, so it's not going to show up on the gold find. It just shows up on the gold increase. So there we go. Oh, Beetle too. Jeez, all these new gold find people. So Freely, Omen, and Beetle. I guess Beetle would take the place of Narak. Again, if I was in a single tank formation, I'd totally swap him out for Bruenor. Or if you want to do that hack with Havilar, you'd swap him out for Wolfgar. Caddy Brief versus Freely? No. No, Freely has the bigger gold find. Thank you, folks. It's been a while since it's honestly been a while, like probably since the last stream, since I've bothered to do a major Azaka farm. So, sorry if this has been asked already. Why do you push on Ishi's free play instead of Omen's? Omen is a single tank. For me, I would probably rather push on Omens because I know my single tank can handle pushing as deep as I would need to here. For most people, in the mid game, having 2 tanks helps you push deeper. So I wanted to demonstrate because you're splitting up all of the damage that's coming in from all of the enemies amongst 2 tanks, which lowers incoming damage to them, but also prevents them from going over their overwhelm point. So I wanted to demonstrate on Ishi's formation. Does Narak help with Kroll Pilfer? No. No. Pilfer is not a formation thing. It is a debuff on an enemy. Is it worth it to swap in Stokey and apply Golden Palm? No. That only applies when she's in the formation. Omen needs to move and you should replace Wolfgar and Calliope with lawful characters. Well, if that's the way you want to do it, you go right ahead. I was trying to build around Narak because I wanted Narak next to Omen because Narak works with Omen because Omen has the wisdom necessary. But now that we don't have Narak, I can move Omen back here. It's going to make contractual obligations proc quicker. It doesn't change the amount, right? Yeah. It doesn't change the amount that it's dropped. It just means he has that happen more often. But we're literally doing, with the speed potions and everything, we're going to be doing 10 hours of farming here. So I'm not really worried about that. Again, it's the first ult that's really going to get you the most. How do you spec Omen on this? It doesn't matter. We're looking for contractual obligations. We're not actually buffing people to do damage. Yeah, this is his spec is about Champion of Tymora. Which blesses, yeah. Doesn't matter. Because this is just about how many people are in the column in front of him. So, yeah, keep in mind, folks, we're not attempting to do damage when we're Azaka farming. Azaka's ultimate is what earns us gold. We're not attempting to kill anything, so we're not maxing. This is why Azaka farming exists. You can swap in all of these things that increase gold find. You don't have to worry about any of their actual damage buffs at that point. It's just literally about surviving and farming. For pushing outside of events time gates, do you like to push under any certain patron, or do you? You don't want to use a patron. There are some rare cases
for early players where you can push better in patrons because of the local bonuses. But most of the time, you want to just be in a regular mission. You don't want the patron restricting who you use. So how about pipes for extra gold find? I already did that. Yeah, we're already purple. I've got all the purples. I mean, I don't have the pipe. I need an X here to light that one up. But yeah, we got the gold find. Lots and lots of information. Am I ready for battling Dragonbait? Dragonbait's fight is about having at least E18 favor in Tomb of Annihilation and having geared champions. It helps if you have, like, in my opinion, Dinar and Kroll. Those are pretty much a requirement for me. It's not necessarily about anything else. It's really until you do it, you don't understand. But Dragonbait is about survival, not about damage. So, and I can't tell you specifically for variants if you're ready for any other specific variants. There's no way to know. People, there's too much going on with any individual account for someone to say, look at all of your information and try to tell you if you do it. If you could do it, just go try it. Just go try it. It doesn't hurt. Don't you use Freely's ult first? No. I mean, we could probably, ideally, you'd trigger that, but I've got enough gold, folks. I put 6 E39. Like, do I need to milk like every last ounce out? I don't. If you want to, go right ahead. Did he apply Stokey Golden Palm? No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't stick around. Any post that tells you it sticks around is old and before her rework. So her gold find doesn't account anymore. Why don't you max gold find from the core while gold farm? I mean, I kind of just did. But I also don't want to mess with, like, I'm only missing one of those gold find things. And again, I'm not going to mess up my entire Modron core because there's no way to save that, and I don't have the pipe to actually make it hook up yet. So I'm fine. Everyone has to make here's the most important thing you'll ever learn about this game. Make your own decisions about what you want to do. I'm just giving you information on how to set up an Azaka farm. If you want to do it different, if you want to maximize something differently, or if you want to just get every last ounce and watch to make sure that you're lining up all of your ultimate, go do it. Go do it. I'm just trying to help you understand what an Azaka farm looks like. I showed you how to max out all your Kroll stacks. That's going to be the biggest thing. Honestly, none of the rest of the stuff you're talking about matters if you left 10 Kroll stacks on the table. Those 10 Kroll stacks are going to make you more than all those other things. So I'm good. All right, skipping through those. Catching up in chat. Let's try to get some questions. Might have missed it, but why not put Omen on Freely's spot to get an extra gold buff stack? You don't get extra stacks. This is a misunderstanding, I think, and how contractual obligations works. You're not getting stacks by having people in front of him. Oh, wait. He grants 100% gold find buff for each champion in the column front. Oh, yeah. So I got another 100%. Yeah. So ideally, I thought it just affected the number of attacks. I could have it there. 100% isn't affecting me too much. So like I said, we moved him back. We've got it going. What just happened that caused you to get Gold Hoarder? Oh, I just hit Azaka's ultimate. That's literally all I did. How do you get Azaka? Someone can type in !Gar_guides. There is, under the Evergreen section, there's a post on Azaka. If you open that up, it tells you all about Azaka, and at the bottom it tells you how to unlock her. She's part of the Tomb of Annihilation campaign. Yeah, conspicuous compiler. I agree. Using Havilar is not a gimmick. It literally provides for gold find because you don't need Calliope. You are putting in a champion that and spamming an ultimate that applies a slow debuff to an enemy, and for some reason, it continuously, every time you hit it, it applies that slow debuff over and over until you grind a champion's or an enemy's movement to a complete halt. Feels like unintended. I'm going to call it a gimmick, personally, and not use it. You do whatever you want to do. Which event formation is best for deep runs this event? That's up to you. Really. I think for early to mid-game players, Ishi's. If you're an in-game player, I pushed to over 800 in Omens, and people were complaining about Omens, so... So is Azaka the person making gold drop from a mob that isn't killed? Yes. Specifically her were-tigers. Right there. Every time the were-tigers attack, in this spec, it basically, she's, as Mars put it, she's bullying the enemy into giving them their lunch money. It forces it to drop gold as if it was killed. All of this, Azaka farming and all of it is thanks to Silisa. When you see them in the Discord or on Reddit next, I believe they are the first person to figure out Azaka farming, or at least the first person to actually explain it to everyone. Yeah. So, yeah, this was not a thing that was ever really intended, and then this is kind of what you call emergent gameplay. Catching up on chat, folks. I'm like about halfway backed up in the chat from what it shows me, so if you want to know how far behind I am. I wish I had a... Man, did they have timestamps I can put on this so I know how many minutes I'm back? I haven't messed with Twitch chat options in so long. Might you have subbed Dinar in to get his gold buff on the Mimic before immediately benching? It's already there. You can't see it. It's behind Freely's shield. I can see it because it's what looks kind of like the circle dropping below the shield and the 3 lines that are coming up from the top. That's Dinar's thing. Beale's debuff is permanent, so you can swap him out. Wow, interesting. All right. I mean, if I swap him out now, people are going to complain because then I'll move Omen up and then they'll be like, oh, but Omen's in the wrong spot. I've got enough gold, folks. I honestly think we're going to get to E40 before I stop. Maybe not before the end of the stream, but we'll probably hit E40, which will be, this is the highest gold I've ever earned. As you saw, I got that achievement for it, and now they want me to get E149 Gs. But yeah, I did not have this gold hoarder achievement before today, so I'm happy. I got an achievement out of it. I'm good. It's all just going to get converted into Torms anyway. And what am I up to at Torms now? E41. So yeah, I'll get a 5x boost on that. Not horrible. Earlier I saw your familiars on the field but not attacking. Oh, no, they were attacking. They were clicking. I just have the animations off, so you don't see them going, because that's the flashing option, and on streams, people could have issues seeing flashes like that, so I turn it off. Omen's gold findings increase for every champion in the formation. Yeah, if you wanna optimize this, go right ahead. Again, these are new champions, and honestly, I haven't really cared about earning tons and tons of gold. I did today's demonstration just because people were asking for it. For each champion in the column in front of him. Yeah, so it's not for everything in the formation. Freelies can help based off who you're setting him up with, but I mean, mess around with it. Find what works best for you and use it. Does everyone that does auto Mad Wizard gem farm do it with patrons active? I don't. There's no point in running a patron version of Mad Wizard on automation unless I'm doing their challenges. Like if you get the challenges each week, if you do those, like I'm doing those automated for each of the patrons each week, which makes it go super fast. But then once those patron challenges are done, I'm fine. Or closed caption for people who really want to get confused. No, it's for people who are either deaf or hard of hearing and want to watch the show, or maybe they can't have the audio on and want to see what's going on. And most of the time, the closed captioning is accurate enough. And when it's not, yeah, they might get a chuckle out of it, but they'll figure out what I'm talking about. How do you spell dinar? You spell it dinar. It's right there in the game. Donaar. His actual name is Dinar Blitzen, which obviously is a play off Donner and Blitzen. All of the C Team's names are plays off things. Astras, I don't care about Havilar. You use whatever you want. You keep putting this in my chat, but obviously, like I said, use whatever champions you want to use. You don't have to convince me to use it. That doesn't. We're not winning something here. Use whoever you want to use. I don't. If I had wanted to use her, I would have used her. I did not. So there you go. You were at around 600 increase before starting the farm. You've been farming, what, 15 minutes? Oh, well, we can tell by looking over here. Technically, we popped these on right after we started. So yeah, about 15. So yeah, 2.5 EO7% increase. I'd say that's a big jump. Again, I don't... You want to try to maximize whatever you can maximize, but the biggest multiplier you're going to get is... in the beginning is just learning how to set up 40 stacks. Like if you're normally you're farming at 20, and you want to actually see a big thing, get 40. But I see people who worry about every last champion in their formation, but don't bother with 40 stacks, and it's like, then you really don't care. Yeah, I'll let somebody else, if somebody wants to make a guide to like fully maximizing every last thing, go for it. Go for it. I don't have to make every guide. So at least I made some stuff. It's super old, but it helps to introduce people. But the idea is we're introducing you to concepts, and then you go run and do whatever you want with those concepts. Does Dinar's gold thing still stick? Yeah, it's there. It's behind the shield. You may not be able to make it out. I can see it. Doesn't Beetle's gold buff only count when a mob dies? Well, that's the whole thing is with Azaka farming is Azaka's were-tigers cause an enemy to drop gold as if it died. So it triggers all the things that would affect the gold creation upon death. Do I do a beard chat? No. No. Does Azaka need a particular specialization for this? Yes. You want resist the curse. Because that affects what her ultimate does. When year 4 starts, are we going to get 4 champions per event, or are the year 1 champions going to be removed from the pool? As far as we know, the year 1s are going to be removed from the pool. They'll have more information on that, probably after year 3 ends, which is the next event. After the next event. Which critical role pop looks best? I don't have a favorite. Let's see. Yeah, frankly, I just remember that it's the left spec on Azaka, and because I don't use Azaka for anything but this. So, when they say they're going to retire year 1 champs, are they going to be removed from the game or just not acquirable anymore? Neither one. Palaho? It just means they're not going to show up in events anymore. You'll still be able to buy them out of the shop or earn them free from time gates. Some of these are things that I've already answered, so I'm not going to answer them again. Can we follow you back to your channel for some idle chatter and keep asking you questions on your channel? Not after this show, no. I do not do more stuff on this show right afterwards. It's Idle Champion focused. If you want to talk more Idle Champions, you can stop by my channel, Twitch TV/Gaarawarr on Tuesdays for Idle Chatter. It's from noon to 1 Pacific, right before Bardic Inspiration. And then we head over and hang out while they make awesome songs about Idle Champion stuff. After this, I don't know that I have anything planned. I don't know that they're doing Binwin Place today because I know Crowy is beak deep in a warehouse full of books, so can't join it. So I don't think they're doing Binwin Plays. And I might go over to the Penny Arcade thing, but obviously we don't go into Idle Champions conversations in other people's chats. That's just rude. How long until Delana is part of the emergent game you mentioned? I don't know. When she gets another rework? Or, I mean, maybe with Alcoria. Emergent gameplay is a whole other thing, though. But Alcoria may be something that kind of switches things up, because she is a buffer for spellcasters. So every time they add something that could actually contribute as a buffer to Delana, we get better. Because a lot of the main buffers in the past, like originally Calliope and then like Shandy, these were champions that required the DPS to be in front of them, whereas Delana wanted to always be behind them. And the other big thing against Delana being like the meta pick is that she literally buffs herself based off how many champions are in front of her. And there are very few formations that put one person in the back and everyone else in the front. So that's what she needs, and she doesn't get that everywhere. So. What do you get from storing so much gold? I don't know what you mean. Like making so much gold? Like all of this becomes favor, right? All the gold we're making right now turns into favor for the event that lets us, well, if you're not soft capped, it would let you push further, but this favor then multiplies after the event is over against your campaign favor. So like, this will become an E40 probably, hopefully, run, which means I get a 400% multiplier on the main campaign of my choice. I will put it into Torms because Torm is the endless campaign. They will always produce content for Torms until the game ends. And it is also the hardest campaign to earn favor in. So that's why it is now up to E41, because I convert all my events and all my time gates into Torms. So that will take me up to 5 or 6 E41 just from after this event ends, which is more than I could get doing a run there, as far as I know. Hey, click the setting wheels next to purple chat button at the bottom and show toggle timestamps. I will do that after this is over. I have been missing timestamps. How do you get Azaka? This is the first time I'm hearing about her. Somebody dropped the guides into chat, so just head over there and look for Azaka under the Evergreen set of guides. And I do have... I've got the champions for the next event updated. Their guides are updated. So Wolfgar and... is it Turiel that we have coming up in the next event? And they leaked yesterday the next event. So Alcoria will be the next champion coming to the game next Wednesday. But the Wednesday after that, when Brightsword starts, the Goblin Artificer will appear in the game. And Dylan teased not only that that's when it's arriving, but that it's a goblin in a suit of mecha armor. Some kind of armor. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But it sounds like it's like an artificer that built themselves like a Gundam suit and is walking around. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see what they do with that. What program do I use for the captions? I use an online program called Web Captioner. It's just a web page that's stuck on my third monitor over there, which is why sometimes you get weird stuff that shows up over the words because I opened up something that opens up on my third monitor. So it does a pretty good job. Let's see. And yeah, I've seen comments about what it can and what it can't do. It is its own thing. I don't know that I can affect how it works, but it's gonna do what it does. CC Funny Gar once told us all to go drink some vodka. Hey, if you're of legal age, if they removed the champions from the events, how are people meant to get their achievements? Time gates give you the ones that are necessary. The only ones... So here's how champion achievements work, just since there may be some confusion. Recruit Ishii comes just by getting the champion, right? You can get that anywhere. It doesn't have to be an event. Complete all 3 variants of the Reclaiming the Past. Well, you get a random variant in every time gate now. So after 3 time gates, at max, you will have done this. Obtain a piece of gear for each of Ishii's 6 equipment slots. This doesn't have to be done in an event. You can do it for time gates. You can get them from patron chests. You can get them from the weekend chests. What's the other one? Oh, multicultural leadership. Have Ishii be your top damage dealer in a formation containing at least 7 other non-humans. Again, this kind of champ-specific thing can be done anywhere. It doesn't have to be done in an event. What has to be done in an event is this. A Garen's Day Extended Edition, complete Area 175 and any Reclaiming the Past free play. Now, people call this an Ishii achievement, but it's not. It's part of her part of the achievement set that came out with Year 1. So people assign it to Ishii, but it is not. It is not an Ishii achievement. This can be done in any event, in any of the a Garen's Day events, whenever it shows up. You don't have to do it with Ishii. You don't have to have Ishii unlocked. It's literally about reaching these levels in this specific free play, which is that event's free play. So there isn't anything that requires you to unlock a champion in an event to complete their achievement. You might have to do 3 time gates to actually get all of those specific variant ones. I know there was a bug for a while that if you were doing them, it didn't show as credit, but if that's still happening, you can submit a ticket and they will either push it up. I'm sure that becomes a higher on the quality of life scale to fix, or just grant you the credit. How do you get your bud damage to go down? You remove the things that had caused it to go that high in the first place, and then you wait. So like right now, we have very low bud because this formation is not meant to do damage. So this is the bud that it's creating. Whereas the bud that we got to get here was like E200. So it is now settled back down to its new status. Game will end? I mean, at some point, it might. I don't know. Their other games are still going, so... folks, let's not talk about what certain words mean. That isn't what this chat is for. No words were used here in any kind of way to make anyone do anything. I certainly didn't say them. If the closed captioning put them up, it just didn't understand what I was saying. But that doesn't mean it needs to be a discussion in chat. It's really not what this chat is for. Any tips for the next show? I mean, I try to give tips every show. As to what those tips are, well, a lot of times the chat, based off if we didn't get to something in chat or what's happening each week, like next week we will see Olkoria come out, so there may be Olkoria stuff. I think Mars is going to be attempting to unlock Olkoria on Wednesday. I don't know if I will do an Olkoria unlock on stream on Friday, since that seems like why co-opt both shows for that? We'll see. I may do a special show Thursday in midday before the Idol. Usually I stream RPGs, like I do Divinity Original Sin right now, or Divinity Original Sin 2. We're doing that at night, and then on Thursdays in the middle of the day. So my Thursday middle of the day stream may become an Unlock Olkoria stream. We'll see. What's going on with event tokens while nothing is being killed here? Do they get paid out on the reset? Yeah, once the way event tokens work is they're going to drop once every X number of seconds on average. And they say that because there are times when you don't kill something, and then once you start killing something, the game starts trying to catch you up to how many you would have had before. And it does that by giving you more drops on subsequent drops until you're caught up. Scrolling through the chat that isn't supposed to be in this channel. What about an earned and in progress section for the event achievements? I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think I'm just used to it being over here. I mean, there's a lot to scroll through, sure, but I mean, I guess they've got more bars if they want to do that. It's never seemed like a major issue, but sometimes I get around to an event and realize, oh, I never got that achievement because I just didn't care. Like it was something that required a lot of manipulation, and I was like, I'll do it later. Oh, there we go. Complete 500 areas with everyone in the full formation empowered by luck of Yandala. At some point, I've probably got to do that for freely. I haven't built that specific formation out. It just wasn't high on my to-do list. I'm up to 395 out of 410. Now, if I was sitting at 399, my OCD would require me to go do that immediately. But I also know there's going to be 5 more achievements with the next event. And we'll have more achievements probably. Well, we might have another achievement with Alcoria. We'll see. Sometimes they give Evergreen Champions achievements, and sometimes they're just like, screw you. Think we will get Gromph Baneray as a champion ever? Ooh, I don't know. I feel like they have a lot of room to add more champions to the Sword Coast campaign, but I feel like there's more pressure to make sure they're catching up with the other campaigns that they've added. So we have one in Sword Coast, which is Torms, and that is Dritz. We have 2 in Kelemvor, which is Tomb of Annihilation. We will have 1 in Helm as of next Wednesday, but then we also still have Avernus, which is new, so I wouldn't expect anything new out of that right then. But so maybe there's time if they want to do. You gotta remember, they gave us Dragonbait on January 1st, and they're giving us Alcoria on August. In August, the end of late August. I don't expect another Evergreen out of them this year. But if they did, adding a second to Sword Coast would be neat. It would just need to be somewhere that made sense. And I don't know that we've done anything in Sword Coast that would make Gromph appearing make sense yet. Maybe someone from Ravenloft. I don't know. Can we get some more syndicated Gar streams? One just isn't doing it. I mean, like I said, I do Tuesdays. I usually answer all the questions. There has been. This may make the second chat just because our second time I've not answered all the questions, and that's because we had a focused topic to discuss. But yeah, the last time was when Modrons came out, and again I had a focused topic I was trying to discuss. But yeah, I think one on the CNE channel a week talking about Idle Champions is probably enough. If not, how many people do we have here right now? There's 400 people. We've had over 600 before, so. It's been busier, but on Tuesdays when I have, an hour to discuss things, and I used to have multiple hours before Bardic Inspiration stopped, there were only 2 or 3 dozen people in chat, which is awesome, but, unless all of a sudden I have 400 people in my chat on Tuesdays asking questions, I don't know that CNE is going to be like, yeah, we need more question and answer streams. What's my favorite bit of flavor text? Oh, I don't think I have a favorite. I mean, there's lots of good flavor text, like for items and stuff, and for feats. I think that's super subjective, but I don't even know that I even have a favorite. There's now There's 6 items on each champion and 4 types of items. So each champion comes with 24 just to start bits of flavor text, and that's before you get to feats. Feats have flavor text too. Not all of them are the same. Liar. Not all of them are going to be the same. So yeah, there's a lot of flavor text in the game, and not everybody can read it all. Like some platforms don't have a collection screen where they can go back and read all the flavor text. Unfortunately. I would expect an Evergreen to be added to Avernus eventually, but I'm interested. Yeah, I don't think they're at the point in that campaign where they need to have one added just yet. I just know that at some point they're going to need to get there. That's kind of why I was hoping that we would get Alcoria first, then each campaign would have had one, and then add a second to Kelemvor as you finished it, and then maybe add a second to Waterdeep as you finish it, and then yeah, so I would think up next after Alcoria, I would kind of want to see one in the Sword Coast. But, you know, they're going to do whatever they want to do. So Gar needs us all to see him on Tuesdays. Yeah, I mean, that's a way to tell me that I need to stream Idle Champions more. Because right now, if I stream it on my own channel, you know, we don't get a lot of people hanging out. Is it the same for all evergreens? Oh, that's about achievements. Yeah, some are different. They've added some, but originally a lot of the evergreens, I'd have to go check my guides, but originally all the evergreens didn't necessarily have achievements. Some of the early ones didn't. So what level do you stop Azaka on to not have her kill the Mimic? Again, you push to your wall and you to wherever, and then you drop back if you need to set up. But before you set up your Azaka, like before you start hitting Azaka's ult, you want to wait to make sure your bud drops to the point where her ult isn't going to kill the Mimic. If you're waiting and your bud is dropping as low as it's going to get, and you're still killing the Mimic, then you're not actually at your wall. There's a way to push you further, and that's what you need to work on getting it. Is there any D&D character you're itching to see introduced? Ooh, Rodendale, that's a Pandora's box. How much time do we have? We only have 4 minutes. We asked that right at the end. I think I'm on record on Reddit as wanting a full dwarf formation for the Sword Coast at the very least. Alcoria is adding to that, but I believe I had a couple more that I wanted to see show up. And one of them was, two of them are kind of the way they added Beetle and Grim. I wanted the Tanabritches sisters, which are Fist and Fury, referred to as Fist and Fury. I think you just add the champion called Fist and Fury, and they would swap in like Beetle and Grim do in my headcanon. And I also wanted the Boulder Shoulder brothers. So I'm a big fan of all of those older type of lore stuff. From the Dritz and the Cleric Quintet. I would love to see the Cleric Quintet characters added in. We haven't got those yet. We haven't got any of those yet. But I think having, Danica as a badass monk and Catterley as this, outrageous, figure, he could bring magic back, right? But the Boulder Shoulder brothers more than anything, just because I want that all dwarf and the Boulder Shoulder brothers and the Tanabritches sisters, just so I can have an all dwarf formation. I like my dwarfs. Which campaign's the new champ going to be in? Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Won't she herself do damage? Not if you're in a formation like this. There's no damage in this formation. It's all gold find. All right, I think we are wrapping it up here shortly. So I'll try to get some quick fire answers. But first I want to say, before I start trying to rapid fire some answers, thanks everybody for coming. Make sure, we are still in closed beta for Modrons. If it's on your platform, make sure you're using the new support page to submit bugs, and, giving them feedback and testing stuff out. Don't just ignore it because it's broke. See if you can figure out why it's broke. If you can, not everybody has to, but if you opted in, that was something you opted in to. We are up now to so close, 7.75 E39. I'm going to leave it farming because I want that E40. But make sure, you're good to yourself. Take some time for yourself. I know everybody's kind of on edge lately because the longer this whole pandemic thing goes on, the more stressed people get, even if you don't notice it every day. It comes out in your interactions. It comes out in mine. So take time for yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Take a break from your computer every now and then, or play a different game. I've been playing Motorsport Manager lately. Lots of it. It may happen on my own channel stream at some point. I'll be playing more Divinity Original Sin 2 tonight with a pop-up stream, probably around either between 6 and 7 Pacific, probably somewhere around there. You can hit up my Twitter for more information, or make sure you follow my channel for a notification. And we're basically done, folks. Wouldn't being where you are good to be used Morgaine to get her buff from gold so the buff carries over? Oh, Morgaine is coming in. I should mention that. I had Morgaine in my formation to push me here, but now that I know I have gotten so much more gold, Morgaine will be coming in for Dritz at some point, and I will let her soak up some gold off this. Like I said, I'm going to let this run a little while because I want to try to get to E40. But before these buffs, in the next 15 minutes, Morgane will come in for like 5 minutes. She doesn't need to be in long. And that will help her do more buffings. So yeah, thanks for coming by, everybody. And thanks to CNE for having me. And thanks to everyone behind the scenes that make this possible. Especially all of you. I will see you in Discord, probably, over the weekend. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye!